At Thanksgiving dinner, my sister whispered, "I need money, just this one last time." My father shook his head. "We've given you enough." My mother slid her 800, she's family. I stood up and said, "Then watch what she does next." As the security camera footage played, my mother's hands started shaking. I'm 39, single, and live in Evanston, Illinois. I work in IT, I own my home, and I've been mostly the responsible one in the family. My younger sister, Laura, 36, has always been, let's say, different. Trouble tends to follow her around. She's had a string of failed jobs, toxic relationships, financial problems, basically, a walking mess. But she's still my sister, and growing up, I was taught that family always comes first. Our parents are in their early 60s, still living in the house we grew up in on the north side of Chicago. Thanksgiving dinner is always there. It's a big deal: turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, all the works. Everyone shows up, even the cousins who usually dodge family stuff. That day started off normal. Cold, windy, like most late November days in Chicago. I brought pies from a bakery in Evanston because Mom's not baking as much lately. My cousins were already there. The TV was on, kids were running around, and everything seemed okay. Then Laura arrived. Late, of course. She looked rough. Not physically. She was dressed fine, had makeup on, but her eyes had that nervous twitch I recognized from years of her trying to hide something. She hugged everyone, gave Mom a too long squeeze, and sat next to me at the table. During dinner, right when everyone was digging into their second servings, she leaned over, just low enough so no one else could hear. "I need money," she whispered. "Just this one last time." My jaw clenched. I didn't respond right away. This wasn't new. Laura's been asking me for money for years. First small stuff, like $50 to hold her over between paychecks. Then bigger stuff. A few hundred for car repairs, 1,000 to get caught up on rent. I've helped her more than I want to admit. I stopped counting how much I've given her over the years. And she always says it's the last time. It never is. I kept eating. Didn't even look at her. She said it again, "Please. I'm behind on everything. I just need enough to breathe." That's when my dad, sitting at the head of the table, looked up. "Laura," he said, "we've given you enough." His voice was flat. Not angry, just tired. Like he was done playing along. She looked like she might cry, but she didn't. She just sat there. Then Mom, who was sitting across from her, reached into her purse under the table. I watched her slide a folded $100 bill across her lap, under the tablecloth. "She's family," she whispered, barely audible. That's when I stood up. I didn't plan to. Something in me just snapped. "Then watch what she does next," I said loud enough for everyone at the table to hear. Everyone froze. You could hear a fork drop. I walked into the living room, grabbed the remote, and turned on the big screen. I pulled up the feed from my home security system. It's connected to my phone, and it automatically saves everything to the cloud. I hit play. There, on the screen, was my front hallway from 2 nights ago. Laura walking in. She used the spare key I'd given her years ago. She told me she needed it in case of emergencies. I never asked for it back. That's on me. In the footage, you see her walk around like she owns the place. She checks the kitchen drawers. She goes into my bedroom, opens my nightstand, walks to the kitchen counter, grabs my wallet. She takes the cash, puts everything back, leaves. No rush, no panic, just calm, like she's done it before. I didn't say anything. I just let the footage play. My mother's hand started shaking. She dropped her fork. My dad's face went white, then red. Laura stood up. "I can explain," she said. Her voice was shaking. I turned to her. "What is there to explain?" Everyone was staring at her. She looked like a trapped animal. I was going to put it back. "No, you weren't," I said. "You were going to keep asking for more. Just like always." Mom looked heartbroken. "Laura, why?" "I needed it," she said. "I'm drowning." I didn't know what else to do. Dad didn't say anything. He just sat there, breathing heavily. You could see the rage building in his jaw. My uncle spoke up. "That's your brother's house, Laura." Laura was crying now. I know. I wasn't thinking. I didn't want to ask again." "But you did," I said. "Right here, at the dinner table." She looked at my mom. "You always told me family helps each other." "And we did," Mom said. Her voice cracked. "But this is stealing." Laura was crying harder now. "I didn't want to hurt anyone. I swear. I thought maybe you wouldn't notice." I turned off the TV. The room was quiet. No one was eating anymore. She's done this before, I said. I found other things missing. Loose cash. My old iPod. Gift cards. I didn't say anything because I didn't have proof. Now I do. My mom put her hand on her mouth. Oh my God. Laura sat back down. Her face was red and wet. She didn't try to defend herself anymore. Dad stood up slowly. His chair creaked. I think everyone should go home, he said. This is done for tonight. But it wasn't done. Not even close. I still don't know what we're supposed to do next. I've changed the locks. I blocked her on everything. My mom's still trying to call me, trying to smooth things over. My dad hasn't spoken to Laura since that night. My uncle thinks I should press charges. But she's my sister. What am I supposed to do? There's more to say, but I'll stop here for now. I didn't sleep that night. I kept staring at the footage, rewinding it, watching her move around my home like it was hers. The way she opened drawers took her time. The way she didn't even hesitate. I had always known something was off, but seeing it, it cut deeper than I expected. The next morning, I had 12 missed calls. 8 from Mom, 2 from Laura, 1 from a number I didn't know, and a voicemail from my cousin Danny. Hey, call me. Something happened after you left last night. I called her back. She picked up right away. Laura didn't go home after dinner, she said. She went straight to your parents' house. I sat up. Why? I don't know. But she was screaming. I think your mom let her in. I left before it got worse. I hung up and called my mom. Straight to voicemail. Later that afternoon, she finally answered. Her voice sounded tired. She didn't even say hello. She broke Dad's study door, she said quietly. What? She was looking for his checkbooks. Said he owed her. When we told her no, she lost it. She pushed your father. He fell back onto the couch. He's okay, just shaken. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She pushed him? She didn't mean to hurt him, Mom said. She just snapped. She's not well, honey. Are you serious right now? She broke into your house and attacked Dad, and you're still defending her? I'm not defending her, she said, her voice cracking. I'm scared for her. I didn't answer. I hung up. I was shaking. That night, I got another call. This time from Laura. I let it go to voicemail. She left a message. I listened to it twice. You don't get it, she said. You think you're so much better. Sitting in your perfect house with your perfect job. You don't know what it's like to be drowning and have no one throw you a rope. You think exposing me at dinner made you some kind of hero? You humiliated me. In front of everyone. I have nothing now. Nothing. There was a pause. But I'm not done. You'll see. Click. That was 3 days ago. Yesterday, I came home from work and noticed my mailbox was stuffed. I pulled out at least a dozen envelopes, credit card offers, junk mail, some bills. But there was one that stood out. Handwritten. No stamp. It was from Laura. Inside was a single note. You want to play games? I can play too. Let's see how you handle it when you're the one being watched. No signature. Just that. I checked my cameras again. Nothing new. No signs she'd been back. Still, I felt sick. That night, I slept with a bat beside the bed. This morning, I went to start my car, and the windshield was cracked. Deep. Spiderweb cracks right across the middle. Passenger side mirror smashed. Nothing was stolen. Just vandalized. I called the cops. Filed a report. Told them everything I knew. Gave them her name, the footage, the note. They said they'd look into it. But here's the twist I didn't expect. When I checked my bank account later that afternoon, something was wrong. Multiple transactions. Small at first. $20 here. $30 there. Then bigger ones, $200, $350, one for nearly $800. I froze. I checked my wallet. My debit card was still there. So was my credit card. But then I remembered she had taken my wallet that night. Even if she returned it after taking the cash, she had time to take pictures. Time to copy down numbers. I called the bank and froze the account. Canceled all my cards. The damage had been done, though. She drained almost $2,000 before I caught it. My phone rang. It was Danny again. You need to see this, she said. She sent a screenshot of a Facebook post Laura made on some anonymous rant page. No name attached, but it was her. I'd know that writing style anywhere. It's funny how the golden child can destroy a family in one dinner. He thinks he's a saint, but I know things. I know everything, and I'm done being the screw-up. Let's see how he handles the truth. The comments were all from strangers, egging her on, telling her to expose him, asking for tea. She was feeding into it. I sat there, staring at the screen, feeling my stomach twist. What truth? I hadn't done anything wrong. I kept to myself. I worked. I helped her when I could. What was she planning? Whatever it wasn't over. And I had no idea how far she was willing to go. That night, I barely slept again. Every time I closed my eyes, I'd hear her voice from that voicemail. I'm not done. You'll see. I couldn't shake it. The way she said it, it wasn't just anger. It was personal. Like she'd crossed a line in her mind, and there was no going back. The next morning, I called off work. I needed to get ahead of whatever she was planning. I filed for a restraining order. It wasn't easy, had to explain everything, show them footage, messages, even the note she left. The lady behind the glass at the courthouse just kept shaking her head. You'd be surprised how often this happens in families, she said quietly, stamping my paperwork. But that's the thing, I was surprised. Every single day, this just kept getting worse. I headed to my parents' place to talk. I hadn't been back since Thanksgiving. Dad opened the door. He looked exhausted. Dark circles, slower walk. Like he'd aged 10 years in just a few days. We sat in the kitchen. Mom was in the living room, silent, hugging a pillow. There was a tension in the air I'd never felt in that house. She's gone, Dad said finally. Gone where? No one knows. She left yesterday morning. Left her phone, too. Took some clothes. Said she needed space. You're just letting her disappear? He gave me a hard look. What do you want me to do? Lock her in the basement. I bit my tongue. He wasn't wrong, but still. I got a letter, he added, sliding an envelope across the table. It had my name on it. Same handwriting as the note from before. Inside was a printed document. At first, I didn't understand what I was looking at. It was a screenshot of a social media post, mine. From years ago, 2012, to be exact. I'd posted a photo from a work trip to Las Vegas. We were at a rooftop bar. Just me, my old boss, and 2 coworkers. Nothing crazy. But Laura had highlighted a specific comment. From a girl named Tara. Wish I could have stayed longer, face blowing kiss next time, don't be such a tease, lol. Back then, I brushed it off. Tara was someone I met once. She was flirty, sure, but nothing happened. I flipped the page. More screenshots. Emails. DMs. Stuff from years ago I barely remembered. None of it illegal, but questionable. Especially if taken out of context. There were conversations with coworkers, jokes, some that wouldn't fly today. And then the last page. A printed email from someone claiming to be Tara. He made promises. Then ghosted me after Vegas. Typical. I should have known better. He's a manipulator. I dropped the papers. What the hell is this? I said out loud. Dad looked confused. What does it mean? She's trying to dig up dirt. Twist old crap into something it's not. Why? I stood up, pacing. Because she knows I work with clients. Because she knows if this got out, I could lose work. My reputation. Everything. Dad was quiet. Then he said something that chilled me to the bone. She asked me for your old laptop. Said it had pictures of you 2 from back in high school. That she wanted to make an album for Mom. My mouth went dry. Did you give it to her? He nodded slowly. It was in the attic. I didn't think. Of course he didn't. Why would he? That laptop had years of photos, emails, backup files. I never thought anyone would bother with it. It wasn't even password protected anymore. I rushed home and checked my email. 2 new messages from unknown addresses. The first was a Google Drive link with a countdown. This folder will be shared publicly in 72 hours unless you stop me. The second message was short. You told them to watch what I do next. Now it's your turn. Let's see how much family matters when it's your name on the line. She'd flipped the script completely. I went cold. Laura wasn't spiraling anymore. She was planning. I had 72 hours. 3 days to stop her from ruining my life. From dragging everything down with her. From turning what was once a broken sibling bond into a full-on war. I didn't eat. Barely slept. I reached out to friends in IT security, tried to trace the email. Nothing. Burner address, masked IP. She wasn't dumb. She'd planned this. Every part of it. On the second day, I got another message. This one had a video clip. It was old, shot on that Vegas trip, apparently from my laptop's camera folder. Me and a group of coworkers in a hotel suite. Everyone's drinking. People are being loud. At one point, I turn to the camera and say something I don't remember saying. It wasn't incriminating, but it was the kind of soundbite that, taken out of context, could be weaponized. There was also a folder labeled Client Files Private from my backup. She had everything. That night, I made a decision. I drove to my parents' house. I knew she'd come back eventually. And I was right. Her car was there. I walked up, heart pounding, and rang the bell. My dad opened it wide-eyed. "She's here," I said. "We're doing this now." Inside, Laura was sitting on the couch, legs crossed, acting like nothing had happened. Mom sat next to her, stiff and quiet. She didn't even look at me. I stood across the room, staring her down. "You sent me a countdown," I said. "You broke into my house, trashed my car, drained my bank account, stole my files. And now you're threatening to leak my past." She didn't flinch. "Your perfect past," she said. "You always played the hero, the good son, the responsible one. I just wanted people to see that you're not perfect either." "You think this is about perfection?" I shouted. "This is about you losing control of your own life and blaming everyone else for it. You don't know what it's like." "Stop," I said. "Stop saying that. You always use that line. I've helped you more times than I can count. We all have." She stood up, eyes wide and furious. "You humiliated me. In front of our whole family. You could have just pulled me aside. But no, you wanted to destroy me. And now, I'm just giving you a taste." Mom finally spoke. "Laura, enough." Laura turned, shocked. "I've defended you for years," Mom said quietly. "Told myself you were just struggling, that you'd bounce back. But this..." She stood, voice rising. "This is hate. You're trying to ruin your brother's life." "He ruined mine," Laura said, her voice cracking. "How?" I asked. She turned to me, tears spilling now. "You always had it easy. Straight A's, scholarships, promotions. Dad beaming with pride. Mom bragging at church. And me? I was the screw-up. No one asked if I was okay. No one cared when I fell apart. You stole from me, Laura. You lied, you manipulated, and you want to justify it because you felt second best." She broke. "I was pregnant once," she blurted. "Did anyone ever know that?" "Huh. No. Because you were getting promoted, and Mom and Dad were so busy being proud of you, they never saw me slipping away." The room went silent. She sat back down, sobbing. "He left. Said he wasn't ready. I was alone. I didn't tell anyone. I lost the baby. And I never came back from that." I felt the air leave the room. Mom covered her mouth, trembling. Dad sat down, stunned. No one said a word for almost a minute. Laura wiped her face with her sleeve. "I didn't care anymore. About anything. I just kept going. Until I couldn't. And then I saw you. Always stable. Always respected. And I hated you for it." I sank into a chair across from her. "I didn't know," I said quietly. She nodded. "I didn't want you to." The countdown expired that night. But the files never got released. 3 days later, she sent me one last message. "I deleted everything. I'm done fighting. I'll be gone for a while." She was gone by morning. No one knows where. Mom thinks she went south. Maybe to stay with a friend in Arizona. She's not answering calls. Not replying to messages. Just disappeared. Dad and I don't talk about her much anymore. Not because we don't care. We just don't know what to say. Mom tries. She lights a candle every Sunday and leaves her phone by the window, just in case she calls. The damage is still there. My bank fixed the stolen money. I changed my passwords, upgraded security, even hired a service to monitor for leaks. So far, nothing. But that's not what hurts. What hurts is knowing how deep her pain went, and how blind I was to it. I still don't trust her. I probably never will. But some days, I wonder if I could have done more. If calling her out at dinner pushed her too far. If, instead of punishment, she really just needed help. I don't know. What I do know is this. Family can lift you up or break you into pieces. And sometimes, the people you thought you were protecting needed you long before you ever noticed they were drowning. I'm not angry anymore. Just tired. Still trying to forgive her. Still trying to forgive myself.